हेलो ब्यूटीफुल पीपल, आज मैं आपके लिए लाया हूँ एक गिट का सेशन. सो वेलकम टू माय चैनल लर्न AWS with me. So let's start by learning our favorite tool Git, and we will start from the basic. I'll help you learn from basic to advanced. What I'm tell about myself, DevOps, which is and 7+ years of experience in the market, worked with like TCS, Infosys, and many MNCs. As of now, I will be helping you to become a DevOps engineer in 2025. So guys, this is about the overview what we will cover. So हम सारी की सारी चीज़ें सीखेंगे, git installation, basic git commands, and likewise I want you guys to participate in these things and we will have a lot of fun. एकदम बेसिक से सिखाऊंगा, like git, Unix, DevOps के सारे tools सिखाऊंगा. What is DevOps मैं आपको बताऊं. We will ask questions to ourselves why we require a tool which is known as Git. ये हमारे Linus Torvalds ने बनाया है. Basically यही है हमारे Linux systems के भी करता धरता जो आप लोग यूज करते हो, Linux systems, Ubuntu systems. So उन सब के करता धरता Linus Torvalds थे. इसमें होते हैं कर्नल्स, सिस्टम के कर्नल्स. लाइनेक्स के अंदर कर्नल्स का काम क्या होता है मैं आपको थोड़ा सा इस पर ओवरव्यू दे देता हूँ. ये आपका डिस्प्ले है, ओके, एंड बीच में हम लगा लेते हैं हमारा कर्नल, ओके, एंड दिस इज योर कीबोर्ड. सो ये सब मैं आपको यूटिलिटी बता रहा हूँ अभी लाइनेक्स की टर्म्स में, ओके. So this is the Linux, very popular OS. OS is like an operating system. So there are multiple OS which are available in the market. Windows, you have heard about it. You might have heard about of Ubuntu. So this is also an operating system. There is one more like Mac OS, and likewise there are many. He have to write the modules. So this is a very bulky thing which he needs to create. Talking about the year 2000 in which like our Linux was actually getting created. Basically to tell you guys like how big it was, there were many modules which were written as part of it. Okay, modules means some part of code. There are many modules, many pieces of code that all when joined together, so this becomes a kernel. So as you can see over here, here is our keyboard. So you write a simple thing, hello, it goes to your kernel. Kernel converts it into the OS format. It has many modules. This is the kernel, this is the main working body inside the Linux systems, and this kernel then shows it to your display systems or your CMD stand for command line terminal. So basic it's a terminal in which like there are many things. Okay, Linux is used, and you can say like it is open source. You can say it is highly secure, guys. New companies use this as well as established companies are also using it very oftenly, and this is created by the guy Linus. Okay, this was the name, so you can think about it like Linus, very similar. So Linus Torvalds. Okay, go back to the slides. So just have given you the problem. The problem was the million lines of code. Okay, so million lines of code was used to actually create the Linux systems. So the kernels actually. So kernels were having many modules. Okay, so just to give you a brief like what is a kernel. So एक किताबी भाषा में like hardware, memory, processes, devices, हर प्रोग्राम जो भी हम लिखते हैं वो जाता है कर्नल के थ्रू. कर्नल इज अ बेसिक थिंग that helps you to interact with whatever you are typing and whatever you are showing. So it is a middleware. ठीक है, तो कर्नल आपका बीच में बैठता है जो ट्रांसलेट करता है. बेसिकली आप उसको सोच सकते हैं ट्रांसलेटर. ये आपने लिखा हेलो वर्ल्ड, अब हेलो वर्ल्ड मशीन को तो नहीं पता. सो मशीन में गया, मशीन ने उसमें कुछ किया, एंड देन यू कैन सी इनसाइड द CMD or inside the monitors. Okay, so moving forward guys, please post your questions in the comment sections. So basically this is what happened. In 1999, Linus was writing the Linux systems. So he was writing kernels. There were many developers that was involved, million lines of code. So it was getting very hard to like create all these things. So there was nothing on that time. Okay, so initially it was Bitkeeper who was there. So there was a tool initially which was known as Bitkeeper tool actually which was present at the very initial days. ठीक है, तो 1999 में guys, okay, remember the date when the problem was arising. There were a million lines of code. There were not one, many developers who were actually managing the code. Okay, so the problem was like so you were having this folder. So in this Actually, there were multiple developers that was engagingly making changes. Okay, so we make developer 1, developer 2, developer 3. They were actually making many changes. हर line पे कुछ ना कुछ, like they were adding certain codes, and sometimes what was happening, like someone A has written some code. Now after going to the certain developer lines or the production, B wasn't like that good, so we want to revert to the version A. So basically version means a simple code, and we want to keep multiple copies of it but more advanced. So even is like more advanced than A. Developer having these type of problems, and the code was becoming so bulky, so maintaining it was a big headache. Maintaining was actually a bigger problem. After that, at 2002, if I'll say, Linux adopted it to write all their modules, the kernel modules. After that, Bitkeeper was having certain issues. Issues was not an open source anymore, so you have to buy the license. So that was the issue with the Bitkeeper. We can remember the date, 2005. So in this year, our tool like Git that got created, and who created it? Our genius Linus Torvalds, the one who created the Linux systems, Linus. And likewise, keep on happening. You have learned about one more tool, which is GitHub. It is also a, you can say, repository. We'll come to these words, repository. So basically, ये एक remote repository बोल सकते. This repository came into existence at the year approx 2008. So this is, I'm just giving you an idea why it was used. The things got transitioned. All these things happened. What is Git? Git is just a tool. It helps you create the VCS. What is VCS? Version Control System. Okay, guys. So आपको मैं बेसिक सा बता देता हूँ कि let's assume you are having a piece of code. It is created by one developer. Now you have made some changes and your code transition to A2. So it would be very hard, okay, to keep the copies of this and keep the copy of this as well. It might be go to the version A3. So it is very hard to create the A3 version of like the same code but more advanced, more features that are introduced in it. So it would be quite hard to maintain this. Basically, this is what the problem is, and this is how it helps us to do that. There is more popular tools which were previously used. Guys, after that, SVN tool came into picture called as Subversion. So it was created in 2000 by CollabNet, and later companies like Apache, Red Hat, and these were the mainstreams organizations which supported this project. Developers needed a tool that was more reliable and which can support the management of code was quite critical. Atomic commit. SVN was there for it, and it has done his work very beautifully. Many companies adopted this SVN based tool. The basic fundamental of it uses centralized repository model. Means all the things like every source code basically resides on a single server. So there is one main server where all the project data lives. So developers commits the code, download the code to the same location. You should be having a network connection for that and internet so that you can make the changes to the code as well as if you want to retrieve the changes. Some of the strongest advantages of SVN were it was very easy to understand. So guys, let's talk about the major problems with SVN which eventually led teams to move forward towards Git. So even though SVN was like great tool guys, but it has some limitations. I'll talk you about the problems. First one is like centralized version control. So what this means is there is only one server in which the entire code or entire project repository is present. Every developer must connect to the server to update the code or commit changes. So sometimes the problem was severe, like there were certain crashes or the server got offline. Entire team is stuck on that time and nobody would be able to commit changes. This caused the single point of failure. So all the development process was dependent on a single machine. So let's move to this second problem. So guys, the other problem was merge con. So the branching strategies in SVN was quite hard. तो होता क्या था कि एक सोर्स कोड है आपके पास, तो उसमें मल्टीपल डेवलपर्स रीड कर रहे हैं, अपडेट कर रहे हैं सेम फाइल को वाया इंटरनेट. सो कभी कभी ये प्रॉब्लम फंसती थी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स की कि मैंने उसमें ए टाइप कर दिया पर डेवलपर बी ने उसी टाइम पे सी टाइप कर दिया. सो किसका कोड सही. So that is an small example of merge conflict. So इसकी वजह से there were certain big issues. And lastly, the one chunk which was very problematic was limited offline capability. So SVN requires a constant network connection. हमेशा आपको इंटरनेट चाहिए, उसके थ्रू ही आप कमिट कर पाओगे, अपडेट कर पाओगे. तो ये बहुत ही एक बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी. फुल हिस्ट्री भी नहीं देख सकते, कोई लॉग्स भी नहीं देखेंगे until आप सर्वर से कनेक्टेड हो. It was very problematic thing on that time. On the other hand, when you are working remotely or you are traveling or you are having network issues, SVN becomes completely unusable. So that was a major drawback. So this was a major drawback compared to Git. So lastly, these are some of the commands which were actually used on that time, and some people are actually still using SVN. So these are some of the commands. You can say SVM is a centralized VCS, version control. What do you understand by centralized? Okay guys, तो मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि इसके फ्लॉ क्या थे. Why Git was more popular than the SVN. SVN before Git. Git is used, SVN is not used, or not much used in the market. I'll tell you guys, I've worked many years, but I have not used SVN in any of the company, and no one is actually using it as of now. So what the problem was with SVN? Okay, so this is you say our code, and this is frequently accessed. मेरे पास 3 developers हैं, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3 guys which are actually managing our code base. Before SVN even existed, there was things like आपके पास एक source code हुआ करता था. अब मेरा एक developer बैंगलोर में बैठा हुआ है, मेरा एक डेवलपर दिल्ली में बैठा हुआ है. ये वो बोथ वांट टू वर्क इन दिस सोर्स कोड. उसको लगा कि मेरे को कुछ फीचर्स यहाँ पे ऐड करने हैं, दिल्ली वाले को लगा मेरे को कुछ फीचर्स यहाँ पे ऐड करने हैं. व्हाट आर द ऑप्शंस वी आर हैविंग? आइदर मेक अ जिप फाइल ऑफ इट एंड शेयर दिस टू द दिल्ली गाय, then he can make the changes. So what was happening? They was getting multiple copies created, not single, multiple copies of the same code. आप सोचो कि आपके पास 10 gigs का कोड है और आपके पास मल्टीपल डेवलपर्स हैं, जो हाउ मच स्पेस इज गेटिंग वेस्टेड. दिस वाज यूज्ड before these SVN, and you can see like how bad it is. Okay, not recommended at all because it is very hard to maintain the code as well. Let's go back to the SVN. Why it was used. SVN में क्या होगा guys कि SVN में हमारे पास 3 डेवलपर्स थे. We were able to maintain it. Problem arises later. Centralized server का मतलब क्या है? हमें कुछ भी याद नहीं करना. We will learn while going with the video. Centralized means single. Okay, central. The code base in where we were storing things was central. अगर ये गया, this is a system ना. This is any Linux system. Someday the machine terminated. Okay guys. तो central मतलब आपका एक सर्वर है. इसके अंदर हम लोगों ने अपना सोर्स कोड लिखा हुआ है, मतलब एक कंप्यूटर जिसके अंदर हमारी फाइल्स को एक्सेस कौन कर रहे हैं? 3 डेवलपर्स. ये 3 डेवलपर्स इसको एक्सेस कर रहे हैं फ्रीक्वेंटली. ओके, व्हाट हैपन्स? दिस सिस्टम गोज डाउन, दिस वन, your entire code base is gone. You will be having nothing. Not a bad, good practice. But initially it was there, but it added certain things. Developer 1, developer, all these developers were sitting across like Bangalore, okay, Delhi, anywhere. We were able to commit the code. Commit means लोगों ने अपना में changes करने चाहिए. कोड मीन्स एक सिंपल पीस ऑफ कोड, समझ सकते हो. हेलो वर्ल्ड, मैं इसको मान लो प्रिंट के अंदर लिखता हूँ. दिस कैन ऑल्सो बी कॉल्ड एज अ पीस ऑफ कोड. इनको समझ आया हेलो वर्ल्ड, डेवलपर 2 को पसंद आया कि हेलो के बीच में अंडरस्कोर लगा देते हैं. सो दीज ऑल थिंग्स कंस्टिट्यूट अ कोड एक्चुअली. बट एक्चुअली वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द कोड्स विच आर एक्चुअली क्वाइट बिग, bulky. This was the problem with SVN. Okay, so single point failure it was having. Here what was happening, there were only 2 layers. First is the code, second is the developer one. Here your code was there, here your developer was actually, and this was connected via internet. If your internet is down, but changes will be reflected slower, so it is a slower system, you can say. Performance was also not good. So this was some of the issues. So I was saying actually you need to maintain this code. You are responsible for maintaining the code. Take the backup in some drives. Use your pen drives to back up these hard drives. Code was actually be gone whenever there is a issue with this server, okay, in which your code is hosted. Okay, so this could be gone anytime. So this was an issue. So no disaster recovery was there. Once it is gone, your code base is gone. Moreover, examples are SVN tools. You can say CVS. If you search, there is one more, Perforce. Okay, So all these type of tools are centralized. You guys, I think आप लोग प्रॉब्लम समझ चुके हैं. Now comes our tool which is Git, which we were talking initially. So Git आपका जो है the distributed version control system. Let me go back to the slides. These are the Git features. Okay, जिसकी हमें बहुत ज़रूरत थी हमारी. We want a distributed system. We want to have it fast, scalable, secure, and the very good thing about Git is कि ये open source था, like freeware, anyone can use it. So there was no pricing. It was created at 2005. Okay, Bitkeeper जो previously use करते थे वो proprietary हो गया, means public के लिए free में available नहीं है. It came with a price. आप अगर purchase करते तो आप Bitkeeper use करते, but they want something free. इसीलिए Git existence में. Before Git, there were multiple projects, project 1, project 2, final projects. They were having zip files जो mail पे भेजनी पड़ती थी. Then the developer too can work on it. Sometimes frequent overrides. कभी कभी कोड ही खो जाता था, किसी ने किसी में मर्ज कर दिया, किसी ने किसी में मर्ज मीन्स देयर आर 2 पीस ऑफ कोड्स, और किसी ने किसी के कोड पे कुछ चेंजेस कर दिए, तो हमें ज़रूरत पड़ी लाइक गिट वॉज अ रिवॉल्यूशनरी. It was distributed.
We will learn about Git in the next upcoming video, so stay tuned.